Hello. Hi, everyone. Okay, I think uh, the timer said that it is time to open the session. So that we shall do. Welcome to, I guess this is the first session of the day. But welcome everyone to come for the social network gathering of women in games. And happy International Women's Day to everyone. I hope you're all chatting and getting to know everyone else that's here. I'm Nissie, and this is Aisyah, and we're from Women in Games Asia, and we're here to talk about our insights and like how we kind of organize the very first mentorship program under Women in Games. So yeah, I'll hand it off to Aisha to start.
Okay, thanks, Nissie. Thanks so much for the introduction. So, yes, hello everyone. My name is Aisyah. I'm with Women in Games Asia, and yeah, we're here to talk a bit about a program that we ran last year, which was the Women in Games Asia's first ever mentorship program. So, yes, you can go to the next slide. So, just in case anyone hasn't heard of us yet or hasn't heard of who we are Women in Games Asia, the first localized chapter for women in games in the Asian region. We were founded in 2022 to co-drive a women in games mission in this particular region. So, yeah, can go to the next slide, Nissie, I think. Thank you. And ever since our founding, we have been quite busy. Uh, yeah, so just in 2023, sorry, and 2024, we have driven panels and conferences, networking events, as well as on-ground industry events, and like organized things like meetups, and yeah, and networking events, and as well as hosted panels all throughout 2022, 2023, and 2024. But in 2024, we also were involved. We also kickstarted one of our first joint projects, which was the mentorship program. Um, yeah, and we're here to talk a bit about it. So, yeah, we can go to the next slide, Nissie. Okay. Yeah, one of the most important things I think about starting a successful program, yeah, is to form a capable team to be able to drive the program. So this is the mentorship programs committee. It's There are 5 of us. So there's Kahui, myself, Luna, who's based in Philippines, Nissi, who is also based in Philippines, as well as Sam, who is based in Japan. And we all work together to uh, bring the program together. Yeah. Okay. And Nissi, I think you can talk a bit about the target audience as well as the goals for the program.
Yeah, thank you, Aisha, for introducing us. So the kind of the goal of the mentorship program was to target people who were new to the games industry. So we noticed that there were a lot of women who wanted to get into games. Um, I think just because of like the sheer lack of representation, I guess, especially in our region. So it's not very common it in itself to also hear of a career in games in general. So that's where we saw the need the most. So those are the people that we wanted to support for this round. And the goals that we wanted to achieve was to provide them with with a chance and like opportunity to get into the industry and provide them resources and support that they would otherwise not get. Um, I think most of our meetings, we would often talk about how we ourselves would have loved to be part of the mentorship program that we're organizing now because it's just so important to have that kind of network of support when especially when you're starting out and you're young and you have no idea and you don't know anyone. So that was basically what we were envisioning, kind of creating that space for the younger generation of Southeast Asian developers or future game industry workers. Yeah. So the scope of the program, it lasted for 3 months. We did uh, we did do like a kind of fielding for the mentors and the mentees, which I will discuss a little bit later. But the actual program itself is just a 3 month program, which flew by, but also it was so fruitful. And yeah, as I mentioned earlier, we focus on the Southeast Asian region. I think more because it dominantly that's where we were all from, and it would be kind of easier for us to set it up since we already had network there and contacts. Yeah, and then for the participants, we had 10 mentors and 10 mentees who we paired up with one another. Yeah, so I'll hand it off to Aisha again to discuss the program structure.
Sure. Thanks, Nissie. So how we structured the program was we wanted to have a focused mentorship where we would pair one mentor with one mentee, so that the mentor would be able to impart all their attention onto that particular mentee. Part of the program was also one-on-one sessions where we wanted to encourage the mentor and the mentee to meet either virtually or in person if possible, so that the mentor could guide the mentee towards reaching their goals throughout the program. We also included tailored webinars throughout the program where we invited experts from the field, from the industry, to talk to present on topics that are relevant to the particular target audience, which were people who were new to the industry. And this went out throughout the 3 months of the program. And we also provided industry conference passes to the cohort of the mentorship program. So both the mentors and the mentees were able to attend some of the games industry events in the region throughout the mentorship program while it was being conducted. And Nissie will talk a bit about that in upcoming slides.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a overall view of the timeline of how we carried out the mentorship program. So the planning and the preliminary stages took all the way from March. It was announced on March 7 at the networking and the one of the Women in
Careers
Games.
Expo. Yeah.
Yes, the Networking and Careers Expo. I was like, what was the word? It was announced on 7th of March, and from then on, we started planning and gathering our team together. So that took up from May all the way into August. We put out we put out a notice to recruit mentors and mentees, and the program itself started in September all the way to December 2024. Okay, so yes, as mentioned, it was we announced the program at the Women in Games Careers Development and Networking Expo, where Kahui, Luna, and myself talked a bit about mentorship and announced that we will be launching this program. Okay, next slide. And Nissie will talk a bit about how we shortlisted our mentors and went through the process of shortlisting them and all the way to announcing the mentors.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Aisha. So for picking the mentors, we made it a point to pick mentors first. I think because it was the first time, we kind of wanted to um reassure like any mentees that they would have a stellar roster of mentors that they would be able to like get really excited about, because we kind of treated them as a bit like the stars of the mentorship program in a way. So we heavily promoted the profiles of these industry leaders. So we have a very diverse set, and we got to interview each and every one of them and to get to know not just like their expertise and how long they've been in the industry, but also kind of their passion and the their potential for leadership skills. We really wanted to make sure that it wasn't just about expertise level and technical know-how. We wanted to make sure that they would be able to guide these young people on their own career journeys. So yeah, we had 10 across everywhere across Asia. Um, but yeah, and we were so happy to have them. Then on like on another note, we also actually noticed that a bunch of them were um, they had not had a lot of mentorship experience, in the sense that they were mentoring other people. They have had experience leading teams, like in a professional setting, but not exactly on this intimate level. So we actually conducted a couple of mentor training programs, just to get their confidence up, to give them kind of a structure on what it really means to be a mentor, what kind of demeanor you should you have, how would you even phrase questions. So we had a couple of sessions that were that, and they were all very fruitful, because I think it also bolstered their confidence to kind of realize that they are qualified to be mentors. I think that was also one thing that we noticed in the applications. Like they often felt like they were not qualified, even though they already had this wealth of experience. So yeah, it was just like a little add on thing that we thought that might that would be very good for the entire ecosystem. So yeah, and then as for the mentee recruitment, we actually had a whopping number of applications. We did not expect this much. We had 131 applications in total, and we achieved this by collaborating with the local communities across the region. So usually there would be like a trade association or like a chapter of an IGDA, for example. So we just spread the news as far and as wide as we could, so that we could reach these the target market that we wanted. And in the same way that we interviewed the mentors, we also interviewed the mentees, just so that we can also see their preparedness and their kind of their ability to articulate themselves, communicate, and kind of see where they are at in their journey. So yeah, and then the highest number of applications came from Indonesia, Malaysia, and the Philippines, which is um, very heartwarming. I mean, maybe I'm biased, but yeah, because I think it's also these are places that don't really have um, a strong network of women in games, and so there is really clearly that demand for that. So yeah, then as I mentioned earlier, we did do the interviews and the shortlisting, and then after that, when we already had our roster, we did like a little bit of matchmaking. We kind of paired them up based on their personal goals and the field of discipline that they were in. We didn't exactly just like do, oh, this one does art, and then so we should pair them up with an art director. But we really wanted to kind of hone in on how they would be together, like the the chemistry, I guess, if that makes sense. So that's why it was very important for us to interview and get to know these people personally. So yeah, and then we came up with 10 amazing mentees. Yes, so I will hand it off back to Aisha to discuss a little bit more about how we conducted the focus mentorship and the one-on-ones.
Right. Cool. Thanks, Nissie. So, yeah, the within the one-on-ones, so one of the things that we wanted to do for the program was for the mentors and the mentees to commit a minimum of 6 hours throughout the duration of the program, which meant about 2 hours, like a minimum of 2 hours per month, where the mentor and mentee would meet, and they would go over how to go about achieving the mentee's goals. So one of the things that helped during these one-on-one sessions was providing a structure where, yeah, we basically gave them a way, like a template to follow on how to go about the one-on-ones, so that they could get the most out of it, and yeah, maximize the time that they have within these one-on-ones. We also provided a Google Doc for each of the mentor and mentee pairs, which they would use to record down whatever that was discussed within these one-on-one sessions. And that was also structured, and we prepared the same template for each of the mentor and mentee pairs, and this gave them at least a bit of structure on, for example, the goals that they should be discussing during the program, and like takeaways, and even for the mentor to give the mentee a bit of homework. Yeah, we felt that this documentation was very helpful because it's a record of something that the mentee can look back on to refer to, but also it was a good way for us to look back and see if they managed to fulfill the 6 hours that was required out of the program. Okay,
Yeah.
next slide. So, yeah, hold on. Nissie, would you like to take this?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yes. So as I mentioned earlier, we did have a bunch of local partners, and I should did also briefly touch on the fact that we were able to secure industry conference passes. So all of our activations within the mentorship program would not have been possible if we didn't have the partners supporting us. So we actually had Xbox giving us a boost in um, yeah, well, not just like providing a key resource speaker, but they also helped us organize a like kind of the biggest Women in Games Asia meetup ever at Gamescom Asia. And we also had BGBG Initiative, which is a social enterprise based in Malaysia that helped us with the tech infrastructure. They provided us the premium Zoom to conduct the webinars, and we had a bunch of different community groups. And of course, we had Level Up KL and Gamescom Asia, which are kind of the largest industry conferences in the region. So yeah, and then I'll pass it back to you, Aisha, for the tailored to discuss the tailored webinars.
Yeah, sure thing. Thanks, Nissie. Yeah, as Nissie mentioned, we partnered up with a lot of partners to be able to run different aspects of the program. So for the webinars, we engaged um, um, many different partners to be able to run these webinars and also get speakers. For example, in the kickoff call, we engaged Annette Gonzalez Porter, who was the program manager of IGDA at Xbox, to be able to give the keynote speech at the kickoff call. And in the first of the focus webinars, we invited Buzz from PlayStation Studios Malaysia to give a talk about an introduction to the industry, which was especially relevant for people who were new to the industry and needed this knowledge on how the industry works and what makes a game studio, etc. Then in October, we invited Dr. JC Lau, who was the senior advanced producer at Probably Monsters, to talk a bit about how to build career resilience within the games industry. Especially now during such challenging times, we need to be able to be resilient to face these challenges. So this was especially important to introduce to people who are coming into the industry and teaching them to build that resilience as they map their careers throughout it. And in November, we engaged CERN as well as Rina. CERN is the president of Passion Republic, and Rina is the co-founder and art director of Mojiken Studios. And they talked a bit about the Southeast Asian opportunity. Because this program was focused mostly on Southeast Asia, we decided to invite these speakers to talk a bit about the unique opportunities that are presented within this region that the cohort of the mentorship can take advantage of and use. Okay, and we closed off the program with a graduation call where basically we just recapped the program for the cohort. And also we invited our very own portfolio director of Keyword Studios and also the president of the Women in Games Asia chapter, Kao Hui, to give the keynote speech. And was just like a formality to close off the program and congratulate our cohort on graduating the program. So yeah, those were the webinars. I will pass off the presentation to Nissie to talk about the industry conferences that we gave access to our cohort to.
Yeah, it's very enjoyable. I guess it's like we're playing tennis, so we're just passing it off to each
To
other.
you.
Yeah. So on the industry conferences, we were able to secure for Level Up Play and Level Up KL, which is the largest games focused conference in Malaysia, I would say. So this happened in September, and we did a couple of activations there actually, and we had our partner there, Outcrowd Malaysia, which is a um, women and underrepresented genders in general uh, community. So we had a Women in Games Asia meetup um, that Aisha did for the second time actually. So even before the mentorship program, Aisha was already grinding to help out the community locally, and we also organized a panel, an official panel on the conference that focused on female key female leaders in game design in the region. So yeah, so that was very cool. And then we also were able to kind of just hang out with the cohort who were based in Malaysia. So this, I don't know if you see my pointer, but yeah, this image, it was just like they were just hanging out and going, like telling each other where the free food is. So that was very cute. Yeah, and then for Gamescom Asia, we, as I mentioned earlier, Xbox helped us organize the biggest Women in Games Asia meetup, and we also had a booth and we had a speaking slot on the community stage about the impact of women in games ambassadors. And actually, we were almost complete the whole cohort, like both the mentors and the mentees. So we were able to meet each other there. So that was very awesome. Um, then we're gonna talk about what's next. Um, so after the program ended in December, we did, like, we took some time to kind of rest because it was kind of back to back. Because in the latter part of the year, I don't know if it's the same for everywhere else, but the latter part of the year is kind of hectic with a lot of not just work but also games events. So it was a lot. So we took a break and then we came back to it and kind of uh, like wrapped up with the feedback and the postmortem. So we gathered feedback from the cohort, like a kind of a survey, so that we could understand like how they feel and what they thought of the mentorship program. And now we have settled on maybe targeting a different audience. Maybe instead of the newcomers to the industry, the next iteration could focus on mid-career mentees, because there we saw that there were also a big need for those kinds of programs for that addresses their particular issues. Yeah, and we are hoping to also target a larger region, which is perhaps maybe Asia, the entirety of Asia, as we are that Asian chapter. Because we also had a lot of questions about people who wanted to join, but we had to unfortunately say it was only for Southeast Asian uh, mentees. So yeah, we'd like to expand our horizons, and with that, we would of course need a bigger team. So with the expansion of the scope, we hope to expand the committee and maybe operationalize and standardize like how mentorship programs would go on moving forward. So yeah, these are just like a couple of the feedback and the testimonials that we got. So from most of them are of course positive, and it's very heartwarming because they did say like it was like very life changing, and they're very honored to give back to the younger women in gaming. And some of them also kind of, they were very lucky to have been matched with a particular mentor that they were really eyeing to get. So it really improved their chances of getting into the industry, I think, and their confidence level, of course. Yeah, so I'll pass it back to Aisha for the key insights. Yeah.
Sure thing. Thanks, Nissie. Um, yeah, so I guess just to wrap things up, I can talk a bit about some of the takeaways that we took from running this mentorship program, as well as some of the things that we learned. And maybe to impart this knowledge in case anybody else wants to start a mentorship program within your own local chapter, within your own community. Here are some of the things that we learned. It was a learning process for us, especially for me. I can speak for myself, saying it was a really steep learning curve, a huge learning process, because it was the first time that any of us have ever done this. It was the first time that we ran this sort of mentorship program, not just for Women in Games Asia, but I think Women in Games as a organization in whole. So yes, in case you would like to start your own mentorship program, one of the things that we can impart is to start early. This is especially important if you are finding sponsors or partners, because as we were running the program, we approached a few potential partners, and unfortunately, we could not close some of the partnership agreements for sponsorships because um, it was too late in the year, and some of the potential partners had already kind of closed their budgets already. So yeah, if you want to start a mentorship program, start early and plan it out early so that you can start approaching uh, potential partners or sponsors early. Um, yep, another thing that we learned that was quite insightful was it was very, very useful to interview the candidates, both among the mentees and the mentors, because even though we did set up a form for them to sign up and we were reviewing the applications through the responses to this form, we did not actually get a really good impression of who these people were and what they were like until we actually could speak to them face to face per se, because it was through an online call. But yeah, it's there was sometimes we found quite a big difference between what was written in the application and once we started talking to the potential candidates. Um, yeah, we called it the vibe check as we were going through the mentor and mentee applications, and yeah, and seeing yeah, if these people would be a good fit for the program. Um, yeah, we also found that it was very useful to collaborate with local communities. I think Nissie has brought up in one of the earlier slides of how we collaborated with some of the local communities to push the program, and that's how we got quite a good response um, from people who are applying to be mentors and mentees. So that collaboration, that reaching out into communities is very key. Yeah, we definitely could not have done this on our own without the support of like reaching out into the greater community within the games industry. Um, Documentation is important as well. In one of the earlier slides, we brought up that we had the mentors and mentees take notes of their one-on-one sessions. And this was particularly useful when we as the committee were reviewing what each mentor and mentee pair had gone through during the program. And um, and it was also a good measure to see that okay, you guys have already met the minimum of 2 hours per month or 6 hours throughout the entire program, kind of thing, because the documentation was there. And it was also a good point of referral, like yeah, a point of that they could refer to in case there was any information that they needed to look back on. And yeah, and some of the insight that we got from getting feedback from the cohort once the program had concluded was that the training that we provided for the mentors was actually super helpful. Um, they mentioned that it gave them more confidence when they were being mentors. Um, the passes to the industry events were also very helpful. Uh, One of the mentees actually mentioned as she was giving feedback to us after the program was that she actually got hired by being able to attend Level Up KL. She managed to find a job within the games industry right then and then. So, and she mentioned that she was grateful because I think otherwise she would not have been able to attend the event without being part of the Women in Games mentorship program. So that was something great that came out of the program. So yes, if we were to continue this, we definitely need to get more access to these industry events. Yeah, and also the structure and the framework for the one-on-ones was also quite helpful. So the mentor and mentee just didn't go in with a blank slate. They actually had a structure to refer to help them out, get the most out of their one-on-ones. One of the things that was requested the most in the feedback that we received was the mentors and the mentees wanted more interaction and maybe cross mentorship among the cohort, because how we ran this, unfortunately, everybody was kind of in their own silo. Like each mentor and mentee were working together, but there could have been more cross collaboration where a mentor could have mentored another mentor's mentee, if you understand. Yeah, but some of like these cross mentorship opportunities that we missed out on. But now that we know that this is something that people are interested in receiving, then maybe this is something that we can look into for the next iteration of this program. Yeah, I suppose that is all the key insights that we learned from running this program. It was a wild ride. um, we hope to do better for the next iteration of this program if there is one. So wish us all the best, wish us luck. And yeah, that concludes our little presentation. If you'd like to know more about us and find out more about what Women in Games Asia are doing, you can follow us on our LinkedIn profile. So yeah, if we were to run another iteration of the mentorship program, we definitely announce it first on our LinkedIn. But any other programs that we're running within this region, yeah, it will go on the LinkedIn. So please do follow us if you're not already. And thank you for listening to us. And if there are any questions,
Yes.
yeah, I think we can go through a Q&A session right now if there are any questions. Okay. Maybe we should have mentioned this at the beginning of the presentation that there is a little Q&A panel next to the
Yes.
chat. Yeah, if anybody has any questions, yeah, please do pop it into the Q&A. What happens if I click this button? Sorry, I just clicked a little button that said announce Q&A. I don't know if that did anything.
I think I got a notification.
Okay, great, awesome. I was like, ooh, what does this button do? Click. Okay. But yeah, let me think of what other interesting stories to tell about while we were on this program, as if we were like while waiting for the Q&A to come in.
We got one.
Oh, you do?
So someone asked, as a fresher in the industry, what would be the best way to cater my portfolio as a game designer to the companies, and how to approach them?
Okay. Would you like to take this, Nissie, or?
I can.
Okay.
So the best way to cater your portfolio as a game designer, I would say, is to make sure, first of all, that it is clean and accessible and easy to use. So that's one of the most important things that I would look for if I were hiring someone for our design team. Because you have to pay attention to the usability of everything that you output. You have to have a clear vision of how it would be used and how it would be received by the player, for example. But yeah, as for things to put in, honestly, just put in all the games that you've made before and kind of explain like what you've done in them. So it would be great to kind of see it all as a project breakdown as well. So of course those are a little, they require a bit more work to kind of articulate all those things and document, but they definitely will help because then they will understand how your mind works. And I think that's the most important skill, or one of the most important skills in design, because you are a thinker. You design the games. So yeah, and then how to approach them. I think just find their careers email and just send it to them. It's actually relatively um, easy to find the contacts of these companies, especially if they have like job postings on particular official sites. So I would recommend going to those just to make sure that it's the correct company. Um, but yeah, I think the other thing would be to definitely engage in your local community, because they are always trying to reach out and recruit more people. That is one of the main drives that they would have. Um, Maybe go to a conference and perhaps like a particular studio would be hiring there. Yeah, just honestly get to know everyone, be nice, and yeah, be yourself. Yeah.
So fantastic tips, great tips, Nissie. Yeah, I think we have some more questions coming in via the Q&A panel as well as the chat. So Um, yeah, should we take the next one? Was it difficult to review all the applications and select the few to become mentees? Uh, yeah, I can say that it was quite difficult. One of the things that I thought while we were going through the applications, like the overwhelming number of application, was I wish we could have given mentorship to every single one of these people because we felt like there was so many people who really deserved it and who could really benefit from it. And shortlisting just 10 for the scope of this program was really challenging. Um, yeah, yeah. If we could have offered it to everybody on the program, everybody who registered, we that would have been fantastic. But yeah, Nissie, would you like to?
Yeah, I mean, if I could also share, I think the hardest part was um the recognizing that that was you, like in their shoes a long time ago, like really knowing nothing, and kind of we had to balance that feeling and that reality with the goals of the program, because we also didn't want to just give it away to everyone, because it does take a lot of work, and resources are limited. So that's the reality of the organizing committee. So we couldn't just like it's always easy to say like everyone has potential, everyone has the potential to change and become better. That's the reason why we're doing mentorship in the first place. But identifying who is at the right stage in their career journey was very difficult, because you only really get to know them for like 20 minutes, and then you read their bio, and then that's all that you get to do. And yeah, so it was very hard to do that. I think we went back and forth as well, because we all also had our own kind of opinions on these kinds of things. But ultimately, most of the mentees that we picked, they were unanimous votes, I would say. Yeah. So yeah, that was very
Hmm.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah, we decided
Um,
as a committee to like going through both the mentors and the mentees on who to shortlist. So that helped.
yes. Do you want to take the next one from Rebecca? So, do you have any advice for ambassadors who want to help their local Women in Games chapters build connections within their local community in preparation for a mentorship program? Um, uh, Actually, I mean, I have an answer, but I would love to hear Aisha's answer first.
Oh
Because
boy.
I don't know if you guys know, but Aisha is kind of like the very first Women in Games Asia ambassador in like KL in Malaysia. So she was really there from the beginning.
Yeah, but you also, Nissi, I think you have experience in reaching out into communities, and we managed to leverage off your connections for this mentorship program, like through the IGDA, and yeah. So, uh, yeah, yeah. What's your answer? I'm actually interested in hearing your answer as well.
Okay. Okay, well, I mean, for me, I think the advice is really to put yourself out there. I think we have a tendency as women to kind of shy away from cheering for ourselves and like putting ourselves out there, putting like kind of announcing the great things that we do, and being our own cheerleaders, basically. So I think if you just go out there and present yourself and who you are and what your goals are, I think you'll definitely find the right people to communicate with, and partner with, because that's also one of the things that you have to vet for. You have to kind of feel out if these people are the right people to be helping you, because I mean, a lot of people want to say that they are for women and that they support women, but it's not always the case when they actually get to the doing of it. But yeah, so definitely try to find existing groups, because I mean, everyone loves video games, so I am sure there is a little board game cafe somewhere, or just a group of people who love hanging out and playing video games. So it can start as small as that, or if you are one of the few that are lucky enough to be in a country that has an industry conference, that's probably an easy way to do it, and just rub shoulders, shake some hands, introduce yourself. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Actually, you pretty much covered most of what I did want to say. Like networking is very important, putting
yeah,
yourself out there, making yourself visible. Yeah, and going to industry events and meeting people, just basically walking up to people and introducing yourself. And I know this is quite challenging, especially if you're introverted, but um I guess if you want to do something badly enough, you can find the motivation, the courage to do it. So, yeah, just put yourself out there.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, we actually have a bunch of Q&A questions,
Yeah,
which
I'm
is
looking at
great.
the
So
should we
I
go
guess
from
we'll go with
top
the
bottom?
first, yeah, top, because I think it has like a like system.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So, can I participate in the mentorship program if I currently live in Germany, or are there separate similar programs for Europe? So as of the moment, we have not covered the European region. So I suppose no. The answer is no. I feel so bad for saying no, but I mean, yeah.
The
So,
quick
but
answer
I,
is we do not know. uh, we're kind of focused around the Southeast Asian region because that's where we're based. But maybe what I can advise is you can join the Women in Games Discord server, and then there are channels that are focused to particular regions. So if you go to those channels and look into like the Europe region, yeah, maybe there would be people posting about mentorships. If not a mentorship program, then maybe just one person offering mentorship. Or maybe you could join the Discord channel and ask if, like, post in there and ask, is there anybody offering mentorship within that particular region? Um, or yes, or start a mentorship program like we did, because yeah, if you feel like that there is a lack of these sort of programs within your region, yeah, I would greatly encourage people to start one. As you can see, we did it, even though we started off not knowing on how to run one. So it is possible, and it's because we also saw a need for this sort of program within this region. So that's
yeah.
some advice that I can give.
I guess if you are open to doing virtual mentorship programs, there are quite a few that you can attend that are like global. So the very first one would be the IGDA Global Mentorship Program. So they just have like this entire platform and network of mentors that you can peruse and you can find who you think would be best for you. The other, I would actually recommend checking out Code Coven. So they're, I know they are affiliated with the Wings Fund. Please do not cancel me if that's wrong. But yeah, so they do support underrepresented genders in actual development, like coding. Sorry, because I'm not sure like what discipline you are in. And there's also Pixels in the space in Canada where they focus on games writing mentorships. So yeah, so there are a bunch. I think just do research and um, hopefully that we get to do a Germany one. That is the goal. But yeah, you will be the first to know if it ever happens. Yeah. Okay. So I'll just go to the like one of them was has two likes. So how do you define the games industry? Is it more focused on video games? That is a hard question.
I guess yeah, the game when you say games industry, it's actually quite broad. Uh like there's game dev where you actually make the video games, the game studios. There's esports, which is esports, the yeah, it's esports and game dev are kind of related, but not really. They're very different yeah, industries. And
Content creation.
content creation, like streamers, as
Yeah.
well as, and I know that like TTRPG, like board games, like the traditional games are also um, like can be considered part of the games industry as a whole. So um, I guess if we want to talk about the context of our mentorship program, we really did narrow it down to just the game dev side of the games industry. So people who want to make video games, who want to join a game studio, uh, yeah, artists like 3D artists, animators, it's all within that context. So we did not touch on esports, yeah, and or neither are the like board game side of it. Um, yeah, so within the context of our mentorship program, games industry really meant just narrowing it down to game dev. But um, yeah, I guess in my opinion, my view, the games industry is very broad. There's like so many sides of it. Yeah, Nissie, what would you like to say?
No, nothing. I mean, I think you captured it. I mean, I think that's why it's women in games in general, because the games industry is very vast, and it's generally, if you are someone who engages with the creation or the consumption of video games or games in general, you are part of that industry. That's how I would think. Yeah. So I'll go to the next one. How do you work with the demotivated folks, considering how the industry is these days? Ah. Well.
Yeah. So it's not a great time to be in the games industry. I mean, if we were to speak very frankly, um, yeah, and we do want to encourage more people to join the games industry, but that's very, very difficult to do in the state that where it's not a very encouraging place to be. Yeah, with the way that things are. Um, so how to work with demotivated folks? Uh, uh, like if I just give like personal advice, I think like one of the things to really take care of is yeah, just take care of like your mental health kind of thing. And how do I go into this? Like get a therapist. One of the weirdest bits of advice that I got while as I was working in the games industry was, if you're working in the games industry, get a therapist. And I was like, huh. But now I see that there is like a kernel of truth behind that. So yeah, if you're feeling demotivated and down and out, it's best to figure out what is best for you, what works for you, and maybe speaking to a mental health professional, or maybe like just talking to friends and um, seeing what can improve your mental health. That's kind of like a one way to approach it. But in a broader sense, um, yeah, I'm not sure. I can't really. Nissie, do you have anything that you want to add to that?
um, I guess it's also like kind of realizing that you're not your job. Like, okay, we say women in games, right? And then it's kind of always tied to your career, which is of course important because we need to eat. Girls gotta eat. But like, if you do get the unfortunate fate of getting laid off, or your studio closes, or a project fails, don't take it too personally, I guess, because there's always a way for you to get back up, because at the end of it all is you are still a woman in games because of your love and the work that you've done, for the community and for the medium. Yeah, so I think just kind of go back to the whole reason why you even got into it in the first place, and of course take a break. You don't have to love something to death. um, you also have to love yourself. Of course.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. Um, Yeah, just one more point just to add on to that. Hopefully, we're not going too far over time. But um, one of the things that I noticed as throughout last year and this year, as we were going through kind of like a challenging time period in the games industry, is um, I've seen lots of people support one another. So even though on LinkedIn we do see some people, announcing that, oh, yes, unfortunately, I was part of the recent layoffs, but then I see so many people sharing and interacting with that post, and just generally giving each other a leg up and supporting one another and helping one another. So we are not alone in this. We are keeping an eye on each other and being there for each other. So I don't know, I find that very encouraging, and it does give me hope. The people in the industry are good people. So I think as we continue to look out for each other, we can hope for brighter things ahead. Yeah.
Ah,
Okay.
yes. Community, the importance of community.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll just go through a bunch of the other questions just to finish it out because I think
Hmm.
it's currently just the networking part.
Hmm.
But I still see a bunch of people on the stream. So I'll just go from the bottom. What if we want to be mentors but think we're not ready and would rather be mentees? Um, yes, do you have an answer?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I'll go, and then yeah. So yeah, even when we were going through the candidates for the mentors, we knew that these were very qualified, capable people. They were in like these senior positions within their companies. They had a lot of experience, but they did have that kind of imposter syndrome where they were like, "I'm not qualified. I'm not ready to be a mentor. I still need to be mentored." Um, so, like, if people who we were really sure could be a mentor could still feel this way, then yeah, maybe that's just the imposter syndrome speaking. Um, yeah, and if one of the things that I also generally feel is, if you always wait till you're ready, then you'll never be ready, kind of thing. Sometimes you just gotta do the thing, even if you're feeling doubtful, feeling scared. Yeah,
You
sometimes
do it scared.
you do
Yeah.
it scared. You just gotta do. Sometimes you gotta do things scared, because if you just keep waiting, then you'll wait forever. So yeah, if you feel like you want to contribute to your community and through a mentorship program, then yeah, be a mentor. This is your way of giving back to that community, and you know, yeah, contributing. Uh, but I also think that arming yourself with knowledge can give you that sort of confidence to say, yeah, actually, yeah, I am ready to be a mentor. And um, that's also another insight that we got while running this mentorship program, was the training that we gave to the mentors was super helpful to help them build that confidence, and also give them the knowledge, kind of like a basic template, or like basic knowledge on this is how you go about being a mentor. Um, and yeah, sometimes it's just that small bit of training and knowledge will give you that confidence boost. So yeah, maybe read up on mentorship, um, like how to go about being a mentor, and maybe with that knowledge, it will give people the confidence to become mentors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Here's such a well articulated answer.
Really?
No notes.
I felt
Yeah.
I was yapping. I was a yapper, but okay, go on. That's the next
So how do
question.
you collaborate with other WIG departments and what do you wish for future collaborations? Um WIG departments. Well, we didn't get to have like a lot of experience in collaborating with, I mean, we didn't have the experience in collaborating with a lot of the WIG departments. We kind of mostly collaborated with Mothership and the social media part. So it was just kind of clear communication, kind of making sure that we ask early so that even if they are in a completely different time zone and on a different calendar, that they are able to accommodate our requests. And what do we wish for future collaborations? Well, I hope that there could be a like kind of a larger space for the Asia chapter in the existing spaces of women in games already. So it'd be very cool if we had like um, our own category in the women in games server, that kind of thing. Just so that there could be a place that's like localized, if that makes sense. Um, that also caters to a particular time zone. It would be easier to also do events that way. I think just to connect also virtually, even outside of our network. Yeah, Aisha, do you have any other?
Um, yeah, I mean, as you mentioned, that we didn't do much cross collaboration among other regions, but that is something that would be really good to look into. Yeah, to learn from each other and see how we can like help each other and boost the programs within our particular regions. Yeah, I think you pretty much covered it, Nissie. So we can move on to the next question.
Yeah. So how do I increase engagement in my community in India for women in games? We have a community, but it's not very active as of now. Do you want to take this? I think you have a very good answer for this.
Oh gosh. Okay. Yep. I guess yeah. One of the things. How do we get active and increase engagement? Um, I think one of I mean, just speaking from my own personal experience. But it, you have to increase visibility. You have to get your name out there and let people know that you exist and your organization exists. Like if there's a Women in Games India chapter, yeah, then um they do know, like people in the local industry needs to know that that you're here and they would want to collaborate with you. So one of the things that I did was organize a networking meetup. So that's it's kind of like announcing on yeah, announcing on social media, like, please sign up for our networking meetup in conjunction with one of the local industry events. At that time, it was Level Up KL. So we did a networking meetup and invited people to come and network. And yeah, that was something that we organized. We also did a panel. So one of the panel talks that was held at Level Up KL was also organized by Women in Games Asia. Um, and yeah, another thing is that we also had a booth. So luckily, MDEC, well, the organizer of Level Up KL, sorry, just to clarify, they were kind enough to sponsor a booth for us, and it's through that booth that when people come and visit the industry event and visited the booth, um, we got that sort of visibility, and they know that we're here, we're an organization. Um, yeah, another thing I guess is to maybe reach out and build a team of people to help you out with these sort of things, because doing it alone was very hard. And having a team to work with on this mentorship program was a huge help. So you know reaching out into the community, into the industry, and finding individuals who want to do this, who are inspired to do this, I think would be super helpful. Yeah, and I think since India is part of Asia, obviously you can reach out to Women in Games Asia, and we can help boost any of your initiatives if you're thinking of yeah, organizing some within your country.
I guess to add on to that, you kind of just have to meet them where they are, because I guess there's a reason why there is a lack of engagement, and you just have to drill down to what it is that they need to get engaging with the rest of the community. So it's really meeting them at their level, getting to talk to them, getting to know um, what their own personal dreams are and goals in the industry, and kind of helping address that together. So I think a lot of you would find that you share common grievances, share common ideals, and I guess visions for the future of like women in gaming. Yeah, yeah. So yeah. Okay, so one last question. So one specific positive moment that's been on your mind lately.
Is it sad that it takes a bit of time to actually
Blanking out.
think about this positive moment that's been on our minds? uh, So I'm really looking forward to the launch of Assassin's Creed Shadows. um, yeah, I mean, I'm a huge Assassin's Creed fan, so yeah, I mean this like really seriously. I do look forward to the launch of the game on March 20th. Um, what other positive stuff that's been happening lately? One of my friends got proposed to. Okay, sorry. Not related to the games industry, but that was something great that happened to me recently. One of my close friends, her boyfriend proposed to her, so I'm like, yes. Okay,
True love.
love it.
um, for me, I guess because one of our mentees actually, I also run a local incubation program in the Philippines. So one of our mentees in the WIGA program was also my mentee in that local incubation program, and kind of seeing her take all of this knowledge and get so very close to kind of releasing a game, well, at least the demo of a game. It's a very nice feeling because I had known her for like a couple of years now, but the project was really stagnant and it really stopped. And she only really picked it up again because of these mentorship programs. So I'm actually very excited because we're gonna have them graduate next week, and it's very cool to see the the progress that she's had, and it just feels nice that I like I was able to help with that journey. And the other specific positive moment, like on a personal level, um related to the proposal thing, I went to a wedding recently of a friend who works in games, and her and her husband are such big dorks. They're like big weebs that their wedding band was playing a bunch of anime songs. And then the projector was just playing like clips of anime. So that was very cute because they match each other's weird, and that's true love.
I don't know if it's like a thing. Maybe it's just the circles are in Nissie, but I also recently went to a wee wedding. Like both the bride and the groom were weebs, and there were anime songs playing over, and they made cardboard cutouts of themselves, so it looks like you go to a VTuber, Oshi, and you get to, yeah, it was a thing. Weeb weddings are a thing now.
Yeah, I think that's our legacy as millennials.
Yeah,
Okay,
weeb weddings.
so that's all the questions. I
I think
hope everyone. Oh
there was
yes.
one question.
Oh,
So in the chat, sorry, it wasn't in the Q&A. Somebody asked if we could get the materials for this session. So there will be a recording. So yep, Merjin did mention that there will be a recording of the session 2 weeks after this event. As for the slideshow, yeah, I did not consider like making the materials of the presentation available. So maybe this is something that we can look into. Yeah, if there's a way that we can share these slides, we'll get in touch with the organizers and see on how we can go about that. Yeah, something I didn't consider about this presentation. But thanks for your interest.
I mean, we can. I actually have the link right now. If you want it, we can just post it here if you want. You just check it out if you want.
Okay, sure.
Um,
Yes, the
yeah.
present Canva.
Yes.
Thank you, Canva.
So it's a public link, and you'll be able to see the condensed information of all the crazy stuff that we did. Yeah. Okay. So that is officially it. So thank you so much to everyone for coming and asking questions. I hope you had fun
I hope
listening
you
to
took
us.
something away from this
Yeah.
presentation. And yep, thanks for listening to us yap.
Yeah, and we hope to see more mentorship programs sprout up in different parts of the world. We're always open to help out. Just shoot us a message on our LinkedIn. You can also find each of us on LinkedIn. So yeah, thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good
Have
day
a
and a good
great
weekend
day.
ahead. Follow Women in Games Asia.
Yes. Bye bye.
Bye bye.